Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review. And today, from Figures Toy Company, we have the Ultimate Referee featuring deluxe articulation. Okay, so this product is made by Figures Toy Company. If you're a fan of wrestling action figures, you might be familiar with their line of wrestling toys. Their action figures kind of resemble the older Jakks Pacific Ruthless Aggression style of action figure. Those figures, I think, were like a 7-inch scale action figure. But with the release of this ref is much more in scale with the current Mattel WWE action figures, and also in scale with the current Jazzwares AEW action figures. You can purchase this at WrestlingSuperstore.com. It's a Figures Toy Company. Or you can find this also on Amazon, where I happen to purchase this. The box is pretty small, as you can see right here. It's kind of reminiscent of the old Wizard Toy Fair Publications exclusive action figures packaging. If you remember the old Toy Fair magazine that was published by Wizard, they would have exclusive action figures, and for whatever reason, this style of box kind of reminds me of those older Toy Fair exclusives. I think it's because of the typeface they're using right here. But it's very simple, straight to the point. You get this small box, Ultimate Referee. Here's a photo of the figure inside. FTC also makes a lot. They make a lot of accessories. So if you're really into wrestling action figures, if you have a child who's big into playing with wrestling action figures, check out their website, because they make almost every prop and accessory imaginable. They make ring bells, they make coffins, dumpsters, ladders, they make breakable tables. If you're into garbage wrestling or hardcore matches, they have all sorts of accessories. They even make championship belts. They have a deluxe ring that features a cloth skirt for the ring, and also I think a cloth apron also, which is customizable. They have the commentator's table that also is breakable, and all sorts of crazy accessories. And here is the figure in action. Features over 20 points of articulation, and it's compatible with most wrestling figures. So this is something that's been sorely needed for the longest time. A referee that's in scale with the 6-inch scale action figures. I think Mattel made a Build-A-Figure, I think Danny Davis, some years ago, but that's a specific character. And if you just want a generic ref, this is a great option. Jazzwares produced in a referee figure also, Aubrey Edwards, but I think you had to buy the deluxe ring to get that action figure. So this is a great option. I think I paid maybe I want to say $23 for this on Amazon, I think. Let's get started. So all you're getting, there's an empty box, and then you get the ref covered in bubble wrap. Save the bubble wrap for later if you want to pop them. Everyone loves bubble wrap. So here is the referee action figure by Figures Toy Company. The quality of plastic feels different than the plastic that you'd get with a Mattel or a Jazzwares wrestling figure. It feels a little bit on the generic side, but it's a harder plastic. I'm assuming it's durable, or at least I'm hoping it's durable, so that it can withstand if you're a child, a serious play session. The joints feature indents, which are nice, so they can hold their pose, surprisingly. Height-wise, this guy stands in at about a little over 6 inches. From a distance, it kind of looks like I was about to say like a younger Conan O'Brien, or maybe who's the actor that plays friggin' Mulder from the X-Files? David Duchovny. It almost looks like David Duchovny from a from a distance also. Scale wise, let's compare him next to a WWE action figure. I have AJ Styles over here. This is a basic figure from Mattel's collection. And as you can see, it's comparable. You know, it's a smaller figure, but then again, you don't want the refs to be just as big as the wrestlers. You know, I want to say AJ maybe stands in at maybe like 5'11 to 6 feet, I think. So this guy, you know, if I had to guess, the ref would probably measure in. You're looking at a guy that's probably, you know, maybe 5'7", 5'8". So in terms of scale, it's decent. It fits. Aesthetically, it's not so different that it'll like stick out like a sore thumb. If anything, I think the flesh tone is a little bit too pale, but that's all right. In terms of the sculpting, it's clean, it's well done. It's not necessarily a very realistic looking face. It kind of does that like borderlines, you know, it almost looks real, but at the same time looks a little bit cartoony. It almost kind of resembles a comic book Marvel Legends action figure. You know, not necessarily the realistic MCU ones, but more so the comic book based ones. Like a head like this could easily pass for like a comic book Peter Parker, you know, if you look at it carefully. The sculpting, it's decent. You know, the hair isn't the most detailed thing I've ever seen, but it's clean. Surprisingly, the stripes on the referee uniform are all sculpted in. So if you ran your fingers across this, you could actually feel all the individual stripes. I'm not sure if that's a little bit excessive, but it's a nice detail nonetheless. He has his belt, which surprisingly the buckle is sculpted off center, which is odd. The pants are very plain looking slacks. The articulated knees are somewhat hidden, as you can see right there. So the important thing with having a referee action figure is you want to make sure that he can recreate all the referee poses, much like on the box. So with 20 points of articulation, let's take a look at what this guy can do. His head can rotate left and right. Will he look down? Does not look down. Or if he does, it's not a lot. Does he look up? Barely. His arms do rotate. And they also feature butterfly joints. So you can get an extended range of motion on the arms, which I think is beautiful. Let's get back into focus. Arms rotate. They go outward. Again, you can feel the indents. So the figure could hold his poses, which is a blessing if you are into action figure photography. So you could get the figure in poses without feeling like it's going to collapse. Articulated elbows is kind of hard to see. Double pinned, apparently. Articulated wrists. Does feature a cut mid-torso, so you can swivel at the mid-torso. Mine's kind of tight. Right, so I don't think this is necessarily meant to swivel as it is more so just to crunch forward, arch back, and kind of lean. If you try to swivel it, it doesn't want to, and I don't want to force it to. I wish I could get like a light under there to see how it works. But yeah, it doesn't swivel at the mid-torso, but does swivel at the waist. I apologize if this guy comes out of focus. Apparently he doesn't want to focus correctly on my camera. I'm guessing it's because his flesh tone is very pale, so it's kind of fighting with my light. Legs kick up, not as much as I'd like, but enough. Articulated knees, again, very tight joints. You can kind of feel the indents. And I don't want to get too crazy with this. I'm not sure how durable this figure is. And articulated ankles, they kind of bend a little and they kind of swivel. He has his fingers in the 2 pose, as you can see right there. It would have been nice if they gave us more hand options. But at this point, beggars can't be choosers. It's just nice to get a rough action figure. So I do think this is well worth the purchase. And I think if you're a wrestling action figure collector, I think you know, I think you really need this. It's a nice generic ref. You know, you can easily blend them into any promotion, whether it be WWE, AEW, Impact, or your own Fig Fed, whatever that may be. It looks pretty cool. I dig this a lot. On a scale of 1 to 10 for me, I'm going to say it's a clean 7. No more, no less. It feels a little bit on the generic side, just a little bit. A little bit baffled about the articulation here mid-torso. Like, it could rock, kind of bend forward, bend back, but when I try to swivel it, I'm feeling a little bit of resistance, so I'm not sure if it's meant to do that. And it'd be nice to get more hand options. The flesh tone, I kind of wish was a little bit richer. It's a little bit too pale, in my opinion. But it's a decent figure overall. Well worth the purchase, and I think it's a must buy if you're into wrestling action figures. Especially if you're into fig photography, it'll be so nice just to have a ref figure. Alright, so with that being said, let's wrap this one up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. Alright, later.